we go. We ready? Okay. Whew. Good morning, everyone. Here we are again. You were just in this office a couple of weeks ago, and the story continues. Considering the historic surge in the absentee ballot applications in the city of Bridgeport, concerns surrounding potential irregularities and denial of our requests for an election monitor by the State Election Enforcement Commission a couple of weeks ago, we are compelled to address the alarming developments surrounding the recent primary election. Over the past 2 years, the city of Bridgeport has witnessed a significant increase in the use of absentee ballots during elections. In this primary alone, in this primary alone, the city of Bridgeport received over 4,000 absentee ballot applications, an unprecedented number in the city and possibly the state. This trend, coupled with the State Election Enforcement Commission's recommendations regarding the misuse of absentee ballots in the city's 2019 mayoral election, has raised serious concerns about the potential for abuse in the absentee ballot system. On primary night, our campaign was victorious at the polls, with a stand of 470 votes based on incoming results. However, as absentee ballots were being tabulated, our lead dramatically eroded, ultimately resulting in a 2-1 loss margin with an ultimate election difference of 251 votes. Such a drastic shift in results raised red flags as they've had in the past. Today, we are holding this press conference because we have gathered evidence indicating voter suppression and absentee ballot fraud. Multiple complaints have been filed with the State Election Enforcement Commission, including the most recent and irrefutable piece of evidence, an incriminating video for City Hall security footage showing Wanda Gita Paskey, the vice chair of the Bridgeport Democratic Town Committee, the district leader of the 136, and a city employee of Bridgeport, depositing absentee ballots at 999 Broad Street. Ms. Gita Paskey's involvement in this election is deeply concerning. She has been named in various complaints across many districts related to harassment, bullying, promises of Section 8, rent rebate, groceries, just to name a few. She was recommended by the State Election Enforcement Commission to the state's attorney's office for criminal investigation in reference to the charges regarding alleged misuse of absentee ballots in the 2019 primary election. Given her position and actions, there are legitimate questions regarding the integrity of the Democratic Town Committee. Moreover, her current alignment to the Ganim administration raises concerns about their knowledge and involvement in these alleged fraudulent activities. Our campaign believes that the integrity of our democratic process must be upheld, and we are deeply troubled by what appears to be voter suppression and absentee ballot fraud. We call upon the State Election Enforcement Commission to conduct a swift and comprehensive investigation into these allegations. Based on the compelling evidence at hand, the numerous complaints received, and the concerning personal interests involved, we are left with no choice but to seek legal remedies. Therefore, we will be petitioning the court to file an injunction against the primary election results, which have yet to be certified by the Secretary of State. This step is essential to prevent potential tainted results from being finalized. Furthermore, to prevent further abuse of absentee ballot system, we'll be seeking a restraining order against the distribution of any additional absentee ballot applications from the town clerk's office. It is imperative that the upcoming election process remains untainted and free from undue influence. In addition, we are calling upon the state police to take immediate action. We believe that the 2019 recommendation for investigation should be pursued vigorously to ensure accountability for any wrongdoing. Looking ahead, we advocate for supervised elections managed by the Secretary of State's office. This should extend to any senior building, private or public, that has more than 20 residents registered to vote. No one should be allowed to enter those buildings to collect ballots. Supervised elections will provide an additional layer of security and transparency, reassuring the voters of Bridgeport that their voices will be heard and their votes will be counted fairly. We will call upon all relevant authorities and institutions in this state to take these allegations seriously and to act swiftly to protect our democratic process. Finally, this campaign is going all the way to November and will continue to campaign towards the general election. Bridgeport needs new leadership.
When you catch it as it is in motion and in video, it speaks for itself. So hopefully the SEC, along with Governor Lamont and Secretary of the State, will do what needs to be done in order to bring back the integrity every vote that goes into the ballot box, because how do we go forward with a November election to secure that every vote counts fairly and equally?
Do you expect to request any more video surveillance footage from the city, or use the lawsuit as a means to ask for other video footage?
Well, that will be a discussion between our attorney as far as what he's put it in, and also with the Secretary of the State as far as what they feel is right. But I think this speaks for itself, and it brings the question about the pattern and what other events have taken place since the ballot was officially put forth, and also the application of, with the absentee ballot. So to answer your question directly, yes.
And you said 7 drops in 2 hours. Is that 5:30 to 7:30 a.m. or take us to the time frame?
Pretty much. Well, it's on the video. I don't know. I know it started at 5:43 a.m. and it went.
It's always the SEC with the multiple complaints, then the state police, and whatever other agency in this state has the authority over elections. They need to simply step in. This campaign is not in the position to investigate anything. We've gotten the information, we've reported it to the correct authorities. It is their responsibility to move forward with it.
Excuse me, all this was on election day?
No, it was not. What do you mean all this was the election day?
I mean, you said 5:30, you said from 5:30 to...
The video said it's September 5th,
Okay.
from 5:30 to 7:30. The video states clearly the date. It was September 5th. Okay, it was not on election day. So.
I'm sorry, can you explain?
Yes.
Why
Brian?
the referral against the state police? Explain that. Why do you feel this falls into their jurisdiction?
Because from my understanding of the law and jurisdiction and the laws even in Connecticut, the only person that's supposed to handle an AB ballot is either the person themselves, their spouse, or any family member, a caretaker, or a police. So.
Are you asking for state police because you don't trust the Bridgeport?
Absolutely not. I'm asking for state police because I think this is out of their hands. It's not just a local issue. It's ballots. It's a state law, and it's also possibly a federal crime because you're handling people's ballots. I have no issue with the Bridgeport police or the state police or the state's attorney's office or SEC. We're just simply asking, move quickly and swiftly, because there's evidence and we have a November election coming up. That's it.
When I talked to Mayor Ganim last week, and these are his words, he called you a disgruntled loser.
Absolutely.
Can you respond to that?
Yes, well, address it.
I would like to say to Mayor Ganim that he lost on the poll by 470 votes. It took 50 years and everything he had, and yet the people spoke loud and clear. They want to change.
Right. Number 2 law. Later, it's not law. For Bridgeport.
Can I get some clarification on the legal action being taken tomorrow? It's a lawsuit that's being filed?
Please contact Bill Bloss at Koskoff, Beaver, and he'll be able to give you exactly what the legal process is. We're not attorneys here. We've contacted our attorney, and he's moving forward.
In your statement, you mentioned we've gathered evidence indicating voter suppression and absentee ballot fraud. Other than the video that we've all seen, what other evidence have you uncovered?
Again, while canvassing in this campaign, every time a canvasser or a candidate came into this office and was said, this person said, this person picked up my ballot. Oh, I give this person my ballot. I have done this for years. Oh, she always comes in this building and grabs all my ballots. This neighbor's ballot, that neighbor. What I've asked each and every candidate and each and every canvasser, I do not want hearsay. You come in, I've printed the complaints from the SEC, and I've had people fill those out, and we've been filing them. So 3 weeks ago, I called the SEC because it just seemed to be, I got overwhelmed with it. I've ran campaigns in this entire state, and I've never had people coming in daily telling me, this is going on, this person said this old woman said this, I'm in this building, just simply knocking on doors, hey, I'm whoever. So it became overwhelming for me. So I decided, you know what, this is going to be too much. So I called the SEC and asked them, what do we do with all these complaints? I was told what to do. I printed all the complaint forms, and I asked every candidate and every canvasser who had a story to fill it out. Then we file it. That is the
So
process.
you have a list of specific names of voters who are alleging that this.
There is a list of specific voters, their addresses, and their stories.
How many of them are there?
We filed 22 complaints so far.
So 22 voters.
22 separate complaints with Seek?
20, so there's one complaint from one of our candidates, 6 different people giving her a story. There's another one with 8 different people giving her a story. There's just multiple, so I count each sheet as a complaint, each name and each story as a complaint.
So 22 complaints with Seek, so I understand
Yes.
you? Okay.
About 22 complaints with
Back,
we count them.
back to Blas. In other words, you want a judge to do 2 things. Number 1, not certify the election, and B, order a new election, correct? That's what you said.
Yes.
Correct.
You want the judge to do those 2 things. Anything else? you want
Based
the
on
judge
legal
to do?
advice, yes.
Those on legal advice, that's one channel that we're
Yeah.
pursuing, obviously, the other one with the SEC.
John, let me ask you, this came up 4 years ago. Do you think Joe Ganim won the election fair and square 4 years ago?
I can only speak on what we have today. And the
We gotta check
evidence,
those videos.
and
It's not-
Hey, go back.
It's
I-
not police videos,
That's
it is
right.
the people's videos.
That's correct.
Public information, that's right.
and the evidence that we have today speaks for itself, so.
Can I say something, please? I'm sorry. I am representing myself, and I'm not representing anyone. I am the endorsed candidate for BOE under Joe Ganim's slate, and I literally submitted this morning a withdrawal from candidacy. And I submitted it, and I got it signed.
Bridgeport for Bridgeport.
I only did that because as a formerly incarcerated person, I had no idea why I got voted on or why I got the phone call to step in. I have nothing to do with politics. I don't even know what politics is, okay? This is who I represent, my kid. I was incarcerated for 20 years, suspended after 5 years probation. Disgusts me to know that people are still judging in society. That's number 1. Number 2, the fact that I have not heard not one city person apologize to the city of Bridgeport and the residents. I have not heard not one person say sorry. Not one person. And when I released the letter today, I said sorry. Because if you felt threatened, if you felt mistreated, unheard, angry because of this, I'm sorry. And you have every right to feel the way that you do. That video right there shows everything. We're missing the point. I will not be a part of it. I
That's Bridgeport for Bridgeport.
My name is Leslie Caravallo. I was on row 8. I was the one with the most votes for Board of Ed. I can't be a part of it. When I went in, I started asking questions. I said, what is this? What is that? Because I don't know politics. I run a nonprofit organization. What I do know is about youth. Justice impacted kids and families. Because as a youth, I suffocated in trauma. Because nobody held my hand. Nobody in the city of Hartford, where I committed my crime, nobody held my hand. I had no parent, no advocate for me. And I felt that it was imperative for me to come out and be an advocate for the kids. That's why I wanted this seat in Board of Education. Not because it was a numbers game or a politics game. That doesn't mean anything to me. Nothing. And I don't represent no one but myself and the city. The reason why I came today is standing in solidarity for what is right. That's the problem now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody hug her for me, please.
Question.
Have you questioned at all the employment of Miss Wanda Getter-Packy as far as her continued employment at the city?
That is not our role. That is not our role. Our role is simply to report on what we have. It is not our role. Our role is simply to protect the civil rights of the voters of Bridgeport. That is it. Everything else, the other authorities that have the power to execute, and they need to do that. The campaign's role is not to question people's employment. It's to put the information out there and let the chips fall where they may.
And I want to say one thing, that this is bigger than John Gomes for mayor campaign.
Absolutely.
This is about the oppression of the people of Bridgeport. We are standing united here because we are trying to be that difference. We may not be perfect, but we need unification across the city in order for it to heal. Right now, there's a black cloud over Bridgeport. There was no trust. We walk around and I don't know what to tell the people.
John, let me ask you a question, and this is kind of a devil's advocate question. The Ganim side is saying that there are some examples in your campaign of absentee ballot fraud. I'm not going to mention any names, but you probably know what I'm talking about. So what would your response be to that? Because their argument is going to be, well, look, if he's crying foul, there are some examples on his side as well. What is he going to do about that?
The one thing I would tell you, ask them to substantiate. Just like we're substantiating what we're saying with proof, that's really all I could tell you on that.
And if anybody, and everybody will tell you in this campaign, they've heard me say it over and over again, there is a legal way. You simply knock on a constituent's door. You've received your ballot. Hope you're considering voting for me. Do you need a stamp? And you walk away. You never touch somebody's ballot. It is the statute. And we've said it over and over in this campaign. If anybody does anything illegal, we'll be the first ones to expose you. We ran our campaign the way we did. We knew there was going to be an AB battle. And I've insisted from day one, the last press conference you heard me, we need to win on the polls. Our goal as a campaign was to have at least leading the other side by 750 votes on the machines. Because you do the calculations, it's about math. It's about math. So if anybody in our campaign was involved, please report it. Please have evidence. And please send it to the proper authorities.
Could you summarize what you're looking for in...
We have any other questions? We good? Sir?
Question?
Real quick, the election officials, do they have, do they keep records of which ballots came from which machines, or not which machines, but which voting boxes?
I'm not sure exactly how that's done. I mean, obviously, when it's tabulated and everything's put back in the black bag and locked up, they are supposed to keep it, and there is a process. I'm not sure what the process is. The Secretary of State's office would be able to tell you. But I know I've figured until the election is actually certified, the 14 days after, then all these records are supposed to be kept, so if there are any questions. So.
And I know you said it off the top, but you mind just saying and spelling first, last name, so we've all got it right?
Whose last name?
Yours.
Oh, it's Christine Bartlett, Bartlett, like the pears, -Josie, Josie.
And Christine normal spelling.
Christine normally spelled, yes, traditional, Christine, no craziness.
And your official title?
I'm a consultant with DNA campaigns, and I was brought on to the John Gomes campaign to help to manage. Okay?
Christine, this might sound like a silly question to you. Is there any question in your mind that the woman in these videos is not Wanda Getter-Packy?
There's no question.
I want to get that from you on the record.
On the record, there's no question in any of our minds that Wanda Getter-Packy is the person in the video. Absolutely.
The same Wanda Pataki who has been referred.
The very same person who's been referred by the State Election Enforcement Commission to the state's attorney for investigation with her involvement in the 2019 election with absentee ballots. The very same person. And that's what alarmed us, because every time somebody came in, they were naming her. So that's why we continued to file their complaints with the State Election Enforcement Commission.
Did you say you still have more complaints?
Still have more complaints to go up.
Could you talk a little bit about what the nature of those complaints are? And
Very same thing. It's the
when
same
you
thing.
intend to file
Oh,
them?
today, after this press conference, there's more that came in over the weekend, so I'm just compiling them.
When were the complaints filed with SEEC? I mean, they're closed for the weekend. These were filed last Friday, or when were these
Some
filed?
complaints were filed last Friday. Some complaints will be filed today. More complaints will be filed today. I was just amassing all of them. So I know the SEC meets every Wednesday, the commission. You have to get everything in by a Friday so that then they could meet as a commission to decide what they're going to do moving forward. So I've spoken to folks there, and I've asked, simply because your 2019 recommendation, and it's the very same person, it's the very same activity, is it any possible way the commission meets before, has an emergency meeting, so we could move forward on this because we have a November election?
How many more will we, sorry.
I've not counted how many more as of this morning, but there is more.
Can I say something, if that would be okay?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, my name is Tony Santos. So I was at that post from 6:12 in the morning until 8:20 in the at night. And in that day, I know exactly how many ballots they dropped in that box. I don't know the total of the boxes, the ballots, but I was there. And they even tried to get me out of there. They talking about the 75 feet rules. And at the end, they tried to call the Secretary of State. So one individual, one inside the City Hall, and a few seconds later, come back and says, Mister, you okay? So obviously, the number of ballots that was dropped, whatever this woman is wondering, that was dropped in the box, it was picked up before that day. The reason that I say that, because I name every individual from time. I have the notation at the box. The ballots was dropped there. And also, when I arrived there at 6:19, a black male got out of his car, went into the City Hall with a bag. At 6:30:29, I have it in my notes, he came out of there without a bag, but with folder. You know, as a veteran, I fought for democracy of the United States. I put years in the military, so it bothers me. It really bothers me.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
When I fought for democracy, and then the city of Bridgeport, the residents got cheap. And I speak for myself, but for no one inside here. But I believe if this is not about John Gomes, this is about the residents who got cheap.
Yes, absolutely.
And if the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, if they have any decency, it should be a criminal, they should launch a criminal to find out who's right and who's wrong. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for coming, and we're hoping that because of all of this and because of the video, that all the authorities, necessary authorities, move swiftly on all of the matters, because we do have a November election. Right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Clock 61, you're right.